Hello, this is Colleen Strong. This is my digital platform 3 article summary. The article that I chose is, Does background music really help radio commercials? The effective involvement on ad recall by Andrew Sharma. The article was published in the Journal of Radio and Audio Media. Introduction and purpose. The question here is the use of music in radio commercials effective in raising the recall of the brand and consumers? The study tested the effects of background music on the recall of radio commercials. Unaided and aided recall was used to test the commercial's effectiveness. There were two hypotheses in this study. Hypothesis 1, free recall and aided recall will be higher for radio ads containing no background music in primary contexts where the program is primarily talk than in program contexts where the program is primarily music. Hypothesis 2, free recall and aided recall will be higher for radio ads containing background music in program contexts where the program is primarily music and in program contexts where the program is primarily talk. Method. The method used here was a 2x2 factorial model. There were two program types used, talk and music, and two ad types used, those with background music and those without background music. Experimental conditions. The subjects used in the study were randomly assigned to one of four experimental conditions. The first one being talk program with embedded commercials containing no background music. The second, talk program with embedded commercials containing background music. The third, music program with embedded commercials containing no background music. And the fourth, music program with embedded commercials containing background music. Effectiveness measurement. The effectiveness of free recall was measured by the subjects being asked to list the brand names of products. Aided recall was measured by when the subjects were provided with categories of the commercials and asked to list the brand names. Manipulation check measures. Tests for randomization of subjects across the experimental groups were measured by the subject's level of interest in choosing radio programs of different genres on a 7-point semantic differential scale ranging from very interested to very uninterested. Materials. Radio program segments and commercials were selected by 3 judges. The judges listened to segments from 6 programs and 6 commercials and evaluated them on the basis of their types: cognitive and affective. The cognitive motive, unilateral motive, is a desire to gain knowledge. The affective motive, value expressive, is a desire to express one's self-image. A dichotomous yes-no scale was used with an open-ended question for comments on their evaluation. The subjects. 148 young men and women were randomly selected from undergraduate students at a medium-sized university. 61% of the subjects were female, 39% were male. This makes up 90 women and 58 men, and they were between the ages of 18 and 24. Procedure, the level of interest versus recall. The subjects were asked to indicate their level of interest in listening to a particular type of radio program. Immediately after listening to the program, they were instructed to write down on a sheet of paper the brand names of as many of the advertised products in the program as they could remember. And this tested the effectiveness of free recall. For aided recall, the subjects were provided with the product category and were asked to write down the brand names of the advertised products. The subjects were asked to respond to semantic differential scales related to how they perceived the program. Result-independent measures. Hypothesis 1 was supported, however, Hypothesis 2 was not. Free recall was significantly higher for subjects who heard the commercial with no background music in the talk programs versus free recall of subjects hearing the commercial with no background music in the program. Aided recall was significantly higher for subjects who heard the commercial with no background music in the talk program versus free recall of subjects hearing the talk commercial in the music program. Program involvement level. There was a significant interaction effect between involvement level and program type. Involvement level was higher for the top program compared to the involvement level of the music program. The difference between the conditions was significant. Discussions and conclusions. The effect of the congruence between the involvement types of a radio program and an advertisement influences the effectiveness of the commercial and the impact on memory. Involvement level appears to be a factor in influencing recall. Implications. The extent to which the consumer's attitude and choice is influenced is dependent on the individual's attention to, learning, and retrieval of the message content. Advertisers must understand the mechanism of information processing, and this is done by examining the information processing made between the background music and commercial and looking beyond program ratings and demographics right down to the aspect of music and commercial processing. Limitations. The limitations here was that the only subjects tested were undergraduate students. Only 2 radio formats were tested, and that was talk and music. Must be further studied with more diverse samples, and the study needs to include other types of radio formats to test the consistency of the results. However, the findings here should be useful in further theoretical research. This has been my presentation. Thank you very much.